अस्सलाम वालेकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। तो ये बेसिकली डिटेल्ड सॉल्यूशन है केस स्टडी का, जो सेक्शन ए और सेक्शन बी के अंदर मैंने दी थी। और सेक्शन ए के लिए थोड़ी सी और चेंजेस की थी, तो मैंने कहा आई हैव कंबाइंड एवरीथिंग, आई हैव फिक्स फ्यू थिंग्स, तो आई विल गो ओवर द होल सॉल्यूशन। वन ऑफ द की थिंग्स, जब भी आप केस स्टडी देखो, जब भी कोई केस देखो इस तरह का, and anytime you're looking at when customer is talking to you about what do they have, always create the diagram in front of you to not only understand कि क्या situation है, but also to be able to share and double check with the customer that this is exactly what they have. So you have a good starting point and you're on the same page with the customer. Okay? तो what we will do now is, ये मैंने इसके अंदर सेक्शन ए को जब क्विज दी थी मैंने फ्राइडे को, उसके अंदर आई एडेड दिस पॉइंट. It will be a good idea to start with creating, start with, let's say, actually start with a diagram of the current on-premise architecture to help visualize the end, visualize the final cloud native solution. So this is what we will do. And it's not very difficult. आपने क्या करना है कि आपने as you read you want to start drawing. तो यहाँ पे कहना है Linux server farm. When you see farm, that means there are 2 or more machines hosting 4 to 5 Java and .NET Core web apps. Now, 4 to 5 doesn't really matter. That means it's a small farm. Always try to visualize what is happening. It's using Java and .NET Core. We discussed .NET Core. It is the version of .NET framework available on Windows and Linux. Right? So let's take a look. What we will do is we'll come over here, we'll try to draw this thing. Linux farm. I'll put Java, .NET Core. Nothing right now. We'll enhance this thing as we go along. यहाँ पे most of the apps are generally 2-tier apps with minimal scalability requirements. That tells you, or the way you want to read it as, we're not too concerned with scalability. So don't worry about too much on how you're going to scale and all that. Main thing is to worry about hosting it as a native cloud app. That's the main thing to worry about. 2-tier apps, we're not concerned with the third tier or the middle tier. तो इसमें हमने जो आपको मिनिमल इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहा हूँ, इसका मतलब बस ये है कि host it on a simple cloud native environment. So again, a little bit vague requirements हैं, but maybe as a first exercise I should have been a little bit more specific, but I'm trying to tell you to how to read these kind of things. आपको कई चीज़ें मिलती हैं इस तरह की, और कई दफ़ा customers explain करते हैं in very vague terms. So you have to come up with architecture and you have to come up with something that matches that. So that was a little bit exercise on that thing. How do you make up your mind and how do you decide on this, right? So हमने क्या करना है, हमने simple web app में इसको डाल देना है, and will not be too concerned with anything else at this point. Maybe इसके अंदर हम इसके अंदर अब हमारे जो app service plan है वो एक app service plan होगा with maybe 2 core or some of the standard one maybe, and we'll see क्या करना है इसको. ठीक है, that's all. उसके बाद Windows Server Farm hosting this application on .NET 4.8. This one tells you that it must run on Windows. क्योंकि .NET Framework 4.8 is on Windows. ठीक है. So we'll go back. जो information हमारे पास आ रही है, we'll just keep on adding that. Windows Farm, Windows Server Farm with .NET Framework 4.8. और ये हमारी एप्लीकेशन है इसके ऊपर, ठीक है, स्टोरेज. वी गो बैक. वो कह रहे हैं जी डेटा होस्ट इन पोस्टग्रेस SQL सर्वर. I think it's Postgres database server or SQL server, whatever it is. Postgres actually should be database server maybe. We'll go back. अच्छा कह रहे credentials are stored on student credentials or on premise ADDS. यहाँ पे हमने ये कहना है कि यहाँ पे आपके पास so for authentication purposes it goes to ADDS. ठीक है. You go back over here. Department catalog PDF format. Also some other information उसने रखा हुआ है. I will remove this one. Already it's over here. ठीक है. This information is already there. I've already sent. I think it's Postgres database server, not SQL. Regardless, you get the point. अच्छा वो कह रहे हैं कि पाक मार्केटियर्स उन्होंने उसको ऐप दी हुई है, वो चीज़ें करते हैं उसके अंदर, मार्केटिंग कंपनी है. तो उसके अंदर उन्होंने कहा था कि उनका अपना भी एजर AD टेनेंट है. But since this is an on-premise application, इसकी authentication सिर्फ ADDS से हो रही है. So what they have done is they have added the accounts, right? They have given accounts. ये बड़ी common चीज़ है, उनको accounts मिलते हैं. तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा? एक्चुअली यहाँ पे हम ये कर देंगे, यहाँ पे ऐसे जो इन्फॉर्मेशन है हमारे पास, हमने ये कहना है इसके हम करेंगे स्टूडेंट अकाउंट्स और हम कह देंगे वेंडर अकाउंट्स. सही है. और कई ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस क्या करती हैं कि वेंडर अकाउंट्स को दे स्टार्ट विद वी डैश. माइक्रोसॉफ्ट डज द सेम थिंग. वो कहते हैं वेंडर है ना, इट स्टार्ट्स विद, जो आईडी है इट स्टार्ट्स विद वी डैश. समटाइम्स टेम्प्रेरी अकाउंट्स भी होते हैं, कोई टेम्प्रेरी एम्प्लॉय आया हुआ है उनके T डैश हो जाते हैं. सम बिजनेस अकाउंट, सम अदर बिजनेस एंटिटीज एंड ऑल दैट, उनके B डैश. एनीवे यू डू दोज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स टू डिफरेंशिएट फ्रॉम योर एक्चुअल यूजर्स विच आर योर स्टूडेंट्स. आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो एक्चुअल यूजर्स हैं, टू डिफरेंशिएट अदर पीपल यू कैन पुट सम काइंड ऑफ हाइफन डैश in the beginning of their names, accounts. Vendor accounts for आपको लिखने की जरूरत नहीं थी. We didn't discuss this one, but it doesn't really matter. For all practical purposes, they are all ADDS standard accounts. It's just the naming convention is different to differentiate, but otherwise they are all same. ठीक है. I'll keep them in the middle. I think we should. I could have done कि हम class के अंदर access करते to how to do this kind of exercise. But anyway, no big deal. ये हमने जो केस स्टडीज की थी उसके अंदर they had done lot of this stuff already, but still I know it was the first time, but lot of people did very good stuff, so it's fine. Then we'll continue. अभी हमें इसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है उनका AD tenant, but you can mention this one just to show the box over here. आप कह दो यहाँ पे कि park marketers your AD. So we're just putting the pieces. इसमें मैं I can put the connector from over here to here. और एक और चीज़, an application doesn't need to be 3-tier. ये मैंने क्लास के अंदर भी डिस्कशन की थी कि 3-tier applications sometimes you combine the 2 tiers also, क्योंकि जब first front end tier और business tier के अंदर when we send the data back and forth, it goes through XML or JSON or whatever, we get some performance issues, right? It's not optimal thing. It gives us flexibility, but it's not the optimal thing. So it doesn't have to be, it can be logically 3-tier, right? Okay, my business groups, I code them into separate project, my separate application, and then I can link them together, right? When I compile them. Okay, let's continue with this one. Or SQLs or instance supporting some of the apps hosted on Linux and Windows. अब जो Windows के अंदर है, it's only one application. So you can ignore this one. I'll clean it up actually on Linux. And some of the apps hosted, I mean, there are only a few apps we'll consider, right? I'll make it simpler, supporting apps hosted on Linux, okay? Just to be a little bit more specific. So we'll say हम कह देंगे SQL Server, MS SQL Server. Let's continue. There's also test environment testing deployed with their databases. So I can say, now I will enhance this one. I will say prod. Okay. So you enhance, continue to enhance as you get more information, your current architecture. Okay. Now, उसके बाद हमारे test environment, right? So test environment could be, I can say, I'll put this one a little bit outside because we are not concerned with this one right now. It will come in the design later on. Test environment is use the same ADDS for authentication. क्योंकि user same है, just because it's test उसके लिए ADDS is not different. Okay, so what we will do is, and it is being used only for this one. So what I will do is, okay, I can say test. And similarly, I can say test. Actually, I'll do something better, okay? What I will do is, and you can do the same thing. It's a matter of how आप किस तरह करना चाह रहे हो इसको. But what we will do is, आप इन सारों को एक बॉक्स के अंदर बना दो. So what I will do is, I will do this, and I will say container add to container. Okay, and I will add container. I will say prod. Okay. And I can do आप एप्लीकेशन को भी डायरेक्टली कर सकते हो. यू कैन मेक द बॉक्स ऑल्सो. डजंट रियली मैटर. इसके अंदर मैंने कहा था एरीडीएस है, इसके अंदर मैंने नहीं बताया था. सो टू बी प्रिसाइज विल यूज अ स्टोरेज विद एरीडीएस. ठीक है, ये दोनों तरफ से हमारे कनेक्शन हो गए इसके अंदर. My line, I'll make it a little bit weight. I will increase. I will change the color also. Okay. I'll put this in the corner over here. And then we'll go back. Now, this is what the current looks like. Current environment, this is how it looks like. ये मैं बता रहे हैं, issues बता रहे हैं for the to be architecture. And this is what we need to do. Okay. इन issues बता दिए हैं, and that's what we need to solve. So let's do the cloud-based one. We need to make the cloud-based, and then we'll start applying these things. Okay. इसमें important चीज़ है, हर चीज़ को देखना है, which points map to which point. This applies to everything. And let's see. This point applies to point number 2. So you can put these pointers, okay, so you don't forget. You can say point number 2. So when you're designing, make sure you look into this one. ये Linux farm के लिए point number 1. ठीक है. So point number 1, let's start designing. Point number 1, Linux farm. We have this thing, and यहाँ पे कह रहे हैं कंटेनर करना है. अब it's a very straightforward thing, right? उनके पास टीम भी है to help with this one, or to build the microservices, to build the containers and all that, right? They're small applications, no scalability, simple apps. So what we will do is, the simple solution is for this case is कि आप इसको एक ऐप सर्विस प्लान बनाएं, क्योंकि आपका लिनक्स है यहाँ पे, you know Linux, so you can use one app service plan, and then based on that you can have 4 to 5 web apps container based, right? That's a very, very simple solution. You can do that one. I would not do AKS. उन्होंने ऐसी चीज कुछ नहीं बताई हुई. It's a simple application, but you can do that one as well if you need to. But simple thing is web app, 5 web apps, 4 to 5 web apps, and you have one app service plan, and that'll take care of that. So let's take a look. हमने कहा जी ये as is architecture है. And we'll do to be. To be means what is going to be. So what I will do is I'll take this box, I'll paste it just as my starting point, okay? Just as my starting point. अब इसके अंदर we have not been given too much information regarding SQL, so I can say Azure SQL or Azure SQL MI. I want to use a PaaS service. That's the main thing I want to say. Okay? यहाँ पे मैं क्या करूँगा? App service plan, Linux with containers. ठीक है? What does this mean? Let's take a look. What does this mean? इसको मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ. So what does it mean when I say Linux with containers? We have seen this already, but just to show you. Logging in. If you look at app services, I'll switch the directory to go into my Microsoft one. यहाँ पे मैं app services में जाऊँ. So when you do create, you will see over here Docker container, okay, and Linux. This is what you need to do. I'm doing a container and I'm doing Linux, okay. So I will put anyway. So you have code and Linux and Windows, container Linux and Windows, और ये मैंने आपको explain किया था all these different options, right? तो यहाँ पे हमारे पास हमने Docker container करना है और हमने Linux करना है, ठीक है? So this is what I mean when I say app service plan, Linux as app service plan, Linux with containers. See, this is what I mean. Then on this one, I need web apps. Okay. Then what I can do is I can say app 1. App 2. And app n, okay, whatever, I mean 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, doesn't matter. App n. N is just arbitrary number. यहाँ पे ये आएगा, यहाँ पे हमने बताया था database services, you can have the SQL के अंदर there are two, there are three services, either it's VM or it's Azure SQL. In the past, it's either Azure SQL or it's Azure SQL MI. So we are saying it could be both options. Both options could be there. So if you have provided two options, that shows your understanding. Okay, what are the possibilities? ठीक है? So क्योंकि जब कस्टमर के पास जाते हो, you should be able to tell them कि हमारे पास ये दो options हैं. ठीक है? तो idea is to be able to talk about those things. So this is the cloud native part for this one. Now another thing was, if we continue, हमने जो यहाँ पे बताया था, that was test environment. How do we tackle this one? Slots. ठीक है? यहाँ हमने कहा कि यहाँ पे prod and QA हम कहेंगे यहाँ पे, आप यहाँ पे बल्कि कह दो कि what we will do is, यहाँ पे पॉइंट कर दो, यहाँ पे नोट लिख दो आप. Let's insert, we'll say all apps will be configured with test and prod slots. That's all we need. Cloud native solution के लिए that's all we need. And उनकी तो दो environments थी, but हमने जो पढ़ा था slots का, this is the one of the key reasons, right? हमारी पूरी environment ही खत्म हो गई. There are other things also, but I'm taking your mind in that direction, right? There are other things to consider, but right now हमारा जो main चीज़ है, that is कि what we need to do. How do we tackle that? And you can mention this over here. I will you can make a, I'll put some other color, and I will इसको मैं okay, तो मैंने कहा जी all apps, I can say all apps configured with test and prod slots. So that was pretty straightforward. यहाँ पे it was just to be able to see कि are you able to understand कि क्या requirement है, what do we need to do and what not. ठीक है? यहाँ पे again we have, you can do ASP.NET Framework 4.8 App Service Plan. And if you take a look at it, we'll go back over here. We'll go on the website. यहाँ पे हम कहेंगे code. This is .NET Framework 4.8, okay? And you will see it is not available on Windows. Okay, so it's natively App Service Plan needs to be Windows, and this is the runtime stack. Okay, so हमारा App Service Plan नया बनेगा, एक App Service Plan जिसके ऊपर सारी apps आएंगी Linux वाली, और एक App Service Plan जो कि .NET Framework 4.8 होगा, and as we have seen, it is on Windows only. We don't have to say, but to be sure, it's a good idea to put, ताकि आपको पता हो what you are doing and why it is like this. और इसके ऊपर we have only one app. Storage. I will name these two, I'll color them differently. यहाँ पे जो हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट थी दैट वाज, उसने कहा था कि दिस वन, उसने कहा जी you cannot use any past database service. Okay, so we'll use the Postgres database virtual machine with, okay, यहाँ पे क्या था हमारे पास, यहाँ पे we had past service and here we have IF. You can explicitly specify what you're doing. Okay, so this is the this is at a high level. You pick one by one each thing and you apply the solution. Okay, let's continue. उन्होंने कहा था कि it is also doing the PDF, it is serving PDF, right? And Europe से slow है. We need to sort this out. So again, it's a very simplified requirement, but I wanted to get out something from you guys on this one. Okay, so now यहाँ पे हमारे पास स्टोरेज है. और स्टोरेज है हमारे पास, लेट्स से storage for, and we'll do blob. And what storage? Blob storage. Okay, and why blob storage? Why not Azure files? क्योंकि Azure files are needed जब आपने SMB से फाइल शेयरिंग करनी है. यहाँ पे फाइल शेयरिंग नहीं हो रही, सो वी डोंट नीड दैट सर्विस. हमने सिर्फ फाइल्स को पिक करना है, ऐड करना है, रिमूव करना है थ्रू द एप्लीकेशन. सो फॉर दैट वी जस्ट नीड ब्लॉब स्टोरेज. वी डू नॉट नीड SMB. सो दिस इज एंड दैट्स व्हाई जो क्विज के अंदर मैंने बार एग्जाम्स के अंदर बार आपसे पूछा था ना, सो यू शुड बी एबल टू फिगर इट आउट, राइट? दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. हमें फाइल्स नहीं चाहिए यहाँ पे. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but you don't need that, right? आपको जो मैंने करना चाह रहा हूँ, because both have REST APIs, both have APIs to do whatever you want to do, but we don't need that thing. And they're audio video files also, so we can combine everything in a single storage service. Okay, that's the idea. It'll simplify things. So blob storage for PDF, PDF for PDF, and audio, video. Okay. Now, so far so good. अब उसमें यूरोप का मसला है. अब अगर यूरोप का मसला है, then what? How do we solve it? We need this storage to be able for us to be available in Europe, and you want to be able to read this. So then the main चीज जो मैंने आपसे यहाँ पे लेनी थी, that was to figure out which storage type, and that was RAGRS. आप इसको GZRS भी कर सकते हो, but GRS is fine. Okay, GRS. RA is the critical part, right? कि आप वहाँ से भी रीड कर रहे हो इसको, यहाँ पे अपलोड हो रही हैं, but you can read it from some other place also. और यूरोप के लिए you can enhance this one. इसमें कोई इतना उसकी ज़रूरत नहीं थी वैसे कुछ और करने की, बस that's all I wanted to see. ठीक है कि इसमें this is being replicated, ठीक है, this is being replicated, and I can say this one is arrows going both ways, okay, replicated. Actually it's one way, not two way. वहाँ से replicate ही हो रहा है, it's not back and forth, okay, it's replication. And I can say ASP and I can say it's actually over here, okay, and similarly I can do connector. There are other things also, but right now just focus on what has been given and what has been asked. There are multiple other things, right? But right now keep things very simple. I've given you a very simple scenario, so keep things very, very simple, okay? Just go with the flow, try to tackle these things as you see. Then उसने कहा था कि segregate, ये हमारा इशू सॉर्ट आउट हो गया, सही है, अभी हमने इसको भी हैंडल करना है. लेट्स सॉर्ट आउट दिस वन अगेन, प्रिटी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड. What we will do is, and we'll do this one also, actually connector जो है ना, इसका connector, we'll do this one to this one as well, okay, but this node belongs to this, okay. ये किस तरह रेप्लिकेट हो रही है, वी आर नॉट कंसर्न राइट नाउ, ना मैंने हमने क्लास में पढ़ा था, नॉर आई एम आस्किंग यू, ठीक है. एंड वी कैन डू द सेम थिंग कि ये चीज जो है, ठीक है, अब वी आर डूइंग दिस वन फॉर ऑल द एप्लीकेशंस, हम उसकी स्लॉट्स कॉन्फ़िगर कर रहे हैं. नाउ we want everything in a separate VNet, so I will extend this one. I will bring this one over here, और यहाँ पे when we are doing slots, so what we will do is, ठीक है, so your environment is, since the test environment is over there as well, so what we will do is we will put, वहीं पे I can put test database also, right? और अगर आपको याद हो, हमने जब पढ़ा था ये स्लॉट्स का, उसके अंदर कनेक्शन स्ट्रिंग्स वर डिफरेंट. So this is no longer, I guess, prod. This is, we'll say, cloud native solution. Your cloud native solution. And similarly, we'll put this one as test. Once we have this one, I can put all of these guys in a separate container, separate box, and we'll say VNet DB. Okay. I can, let's say, if I can, either a different color I can do, adding style. No, it's fine. Let's leave it. ये requirement VNet की भी हो गई. Then हमारे पास ये था 2 weeks before the start of new semester. So 2 weeks before the start, इसके अंदर I wanted to see what your solution is. Okay? तो हमने क्या करना था, हमने बताना था एक और text box I will do. which is schedule based auto scaling prior to auto scaling 2 weeks prior to start of the semester. That's all that is needed. I wanted to see if you remember this critical point. What are the auto scaling types? Okay, let's fix the color thing. And we will say this is for storage directly, storage. So we will do is I want to see let me similarly I will do and same thing over here as well. Okay, I will actually I will change the lines a little bit different to just to show. कि हम कह रहे हैं स्केड्यूल बेस्ड ऑटो स्केलिंग. अब व्हाट इज, ये भी हमने पढ़ा था, ऑटो स्केलिंग इज इधर ऑटो और वी कैन स्केड्यूल इट. अगर हम जाएं ऐप सर्विस प्लान्स में, अगर हम जाएं आई थिंक ऑन द ऐप सर्विसेज and let's see if we can do auto scaling, horizontal scaling. Okay, no sorry, scale up, scale out. We do not have I want to see अगर मेरा app service plan है, कोई app service plans that I can use instead of the free one. No, let me see if I can switch to somewhere else. App service plans, do I have something? नहीं, मेरे पास नहीं है यहाँ पे. Let me मैं आपको दिखाया तो Azure App Service Plan Auto Scaling. हमने क्लास में पढ़ा था बेसिकली. see, और schedule, right? It can be based on schedule. हमने पढ़ा था automatic scaling. ये मैंने क्लास में पढ़ाया था. You can do auto scaling or you can do based on schedule. Let me see. Let's define based on schedule, schedule based. Okay, you can do this one. Automatically scale, schedule based. You can do this one. So what you want to do was want to auto scale based on schedule. Okay, let me see what else we can do. So that was all I wanted to see, that if you guys remember that we need to do this thing, schedule based auto scaling 2 weeks prior to. We can specify, उसको बता देंगे हम कि जब ये दिन आए तो you can auto scale to this number of instances, and after this one you can scale it down, right? That's all there is. So we took care of this one. We took care of this one by having the RAGRS or RAGZRS. I think GRS is more than sufficient, right? Because our application, we are not doing zonal anywhere. So RAGRS is fine. Now let's go over all these things and see. We have done this one. Reuse compute wherever possible. Yes. This one, we reused it. There is nothing else we could reuse. We can actually over here we can argue to reuse the same PaaS service with a new database. We can do this one as well actually, because this service can have multiple databases. So I can put, for example, I can have QA test, sorry, QA and prod DBs. Okay. So when we reviews, we can see that we can optimize this further. And same thing also over here, we can get rid of the other VM and we can say prod and QA. Of course, this is not optimal. I'll keep it out, okay? Because what happens is in this scenario, PaaS is fine. I will keep PaaS because PaaS you can scale. Well, VM you can scale as well. I'll keep them separate, okay? I'll keep them separate. That we are using, we are putting it in a separate service, okay? A separate service to host the test databases and separate for the prod. Okay, we'll keep them separate. Different उनकी वो है usage है, so we'll keep them separate. So reuse के लिए हमारा यहाँ पे है, we have reused, and you can mention this point. Okay, over here, add comment. Let me see if I can add a comment. No, this is comment is different one. You can I think insert, and there is a call out. Okay. And you can, in your when you're drawing this one, you can say reused ASP for all Linux apps. Okay, you can do this one. इसका मैं अगर container format no, sorry. So this is how you want to make the pointers on this one to show के आपने, और इसकी मैं line I think I can change. Let me just make sure. So it's maybe easier to see. It's easy to see, and I can make the color. Yeah. Okay. तो हमने reuse का ये बता दिया यहाँ पे, और let's go back. Yes, we did this one. यहाँ पे हमने again slots. We use the slots. This is fine. That's fine. We use the Postgres VM for cloud native. Performance security, good. We did the auto scaling. हमने कर लिया. Security, we have not done this one. Okay. So what we will do is now we have not covered this part so far, which is the Active Directory, right? Storage is using Active Directory. So what we'll do is over here, will be faster. What is the university? Fastest. Okay. So we have not addressed this one, and we'll do और यहाँ पे हमारे पास है outside of their environment are park marketers Azure AD, और ये हमने दिखाया था, this is the B2B now, okay, where you give them access into your AD. From here you give them guest access, so they can use your, they can access your resources. Okay, so we will give these guys access to this guy, and through here they can access the resources inside their organization. And what we will do is, one more missing piece is fastest AD, and ADDS tells you by name that it is on premises. Okay, so what we do is, through Azure AD Connect to get all the user accounts into the Azure AD. Okay, so that was a solution basically. Okay, of to handle this point, to handle this one, performance and security, performance, auto scaling, security, Azure AD. Okay, we did this one also, and we did this one also, and we did this one. Okay, so for whole this thing, this was at a high level your solution. Okay, and it's not the only one, there could be other things as well, right? There could be other things as well, but this was one of the plausible possible solutions. You could come up with something else, but this is one of the things. And of course, once you do this one, you need to, so now we want to do also is to connect this guy with this. Okay, as well as this guy with this. Okay, so हम यहाँ पे इसको थोड़ा सा, we will fix this one. ठीक है, I want to move this just to make this one a little bit clear. Okay. And we know already what the functionality of Azure AD Connect is, right? We already have discussed many times, so you can see how the different things will play out over here. So that's the high level architecture of this solution. There could be other ways, other things, but this is just one possibility. So basically this is one possible solution, and you can enhance it, you can do various different things, and there are multiple things, right? But the key thing was, जो हमने क्लास में पढ़ा है, जो मैंने बार बार असाइनमेंट के दौरान भी कहा था, focus on what we have studied and what solutions different things give you. A lot of people put CDN for some reason. This was all I wanted, right? कि आप RAGZRS या GRS, you are able to pick. वो आपको ऑटोमेटिकली रीड एक्सेस दे देता है यहाँ पे. We did not cover this part, and here is one more thing, right? अगर ये वाली जा रही है यहाँ पे, I want to be able to ये एक और चीज़ यहाँ पे that you have to take care is database, right? Database for Europe. And we did not cover the किस तरह उसके अंदर replicate होगा. That is not the issue. जो आपको चीज़ नहीं दी, we don't focus on that one, right? Do not focus on what has not been given to you. Focus on only. अभी मैंने उसका वो भी नहीं आपको बताया था आप लोगों को कि ठीक है. यहाँ पे I'll show, for example, connector, and I will do this one as well. Okay. And this can be on its own. अगर आपने इसको वो भी करना है कि आप इसको अपने कंटेनर के अंदर डालो. So even in Europe, add to new container, I can say, for example, vnet db, and this is in Europe. Okay. And we can actually, what we can do is just to clean up this one a little bit. इसको मैं थोड़ा सा और बड़ा कर लूँगा यहाँ पे. And bring this over here just to get some more room over here. And what I will do is I'll bring this one a little bit down just to clean up the diagram. Okay. Okay. So this is what it will look like. And I can put this one also, maybe a bit different, like similar color, okay, just to show you that what we are dealing with. So this is the possible solution, okay, and you can say this one is the Europe copy. Instead of putting all these things in or naming them separately, what we will do is we can put a container that this is the Europe version of this whole thing, right? What I will do is I will say this is sitting in Europe. Container, add to new container, okay? And I can say storage Europe. Okay, I can do like this just to make it clear. Make it like this so it's easier to see. I will remove this Europe from everywhere, and I will say this thing whole. And we did not discuss the replication part. Okay, so don't worry about it. जो चीज़ बताई गई है, just focus on that one, and this is what was needed. Okay. So that's pretty much it, right? That's all you need to be concerned with. We took care of pretty much everything in a very simple way, or there could be some further optimizations. But anyway, right now it's the focus is on how to get this thing to, based on the case study, we do what is needed. Okay. Again, go over this thing and make sure you understand everything. Questions, or we can do that one. And maybe during the review session, I'll try to do that tomorrow, inshallah, and we can go over the whole thing. Okay. So good luck. I'll post this solution, post this video, go over this one. This will be a critical part in your final exam, inshallah. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.